All right. So now we are on the bottom half of that page, but I'm going to just walk through this. So we did this problem right here. Last unit, we actually did this problem. Okay, we did this problem in unit number 1. Okay, that's the problem. It basically said that medicine in your body dissipates at a rate of 20% per hour. Okay, so then what they're saying now is here are 3 representations of that same scenario. So this right here is one representation. This right here is one representation. And this right here is one representation. Okay? That's what they're saying. Okay? They all have the same data. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
They should have the same data. It's the same problem. Okay? Right off the top, without diving headfirst into it, do you notice anything goofy? And give me the color that you notice goofy with. So representation number 1 is pink, representation number 2 is red, representation number 3 is purple. They all have decimals. They all start with 60. They all are decreasing. Yeah.
Purple is the equation,
Like table. Okay, so purple would be which kind of an equation would it be? It is the explicit equation. Okay, it is the equation for the function of the amount of milligrams of medicine left in your system after T hours. Okay? Anything else that we notice? Well, on pink and red, those are kind of like the recursive equations, but red's is really goofy. Okay, red's it took because it was decreasing by 20%. So red took the number above, multiplied it by 0.2, and then subtracted it to get the next number. Okay, so not a big fan of red, just so you know. Okay. All right. We just wanted to basically see if you guys could see anything like that. Okay? All right. Let's talk about Carlos and Clarita now, here on page 25. Okay? Carlos and Clarita are the Martinez twins. They have run a summer business every year for the last 5 years. Their first business was a neighborhood lemonade stand, not a lemon stand, a lemonade stand, and it earned a small profit that their father insisted they deposit in a savings account at the local bank. When the Martinez family moved a few months later, the twins decided to leave the money in the bank, where it has been earning 5% interest annually. Carlos was reminded of the money when he found the annual bank statement they received in the mail. Right off the start, what can you tell me about this scenario, if you will? It's geometric. Why is it geometric? Because it got a percentage. Anytime that there's a percentage, geometric. Okay? So, a couple of things that I want to know about that. Okay? First off, what is the mathematical operation that is being used? Because it's geometric. What's the mathematical operation? Multiplication. Okay, so we're multiplying to get something. And we're multiplying by that R value, correct? Okay, what is the R value for this problem? 1.05. Okay? So R value is 1.05, which means on your calculator, remember I said it was a calculator day, on your calculator, everybody type in 382.88 times 1.05. Now, on your calculator, you should have gotten there 402.024. Correct? Why did Carlos just write it as 402.02?
You can't have 0.4 of a cent. Wait. Yeah, because you can't have like a fraction of a cent. It doesn't exist.
So why did he drop the 4? Rounding?
Yep.
Because he rounded to the nearest cent, right? Which is 2 decimal places. Okay? So we're rounding, and what are our rules for rounding again? Rules for rounding. 5 or more goes up. 0 to 4 stays, we just drop it off, right? Okay, everybody clear on that? Okay, all right. So if this pattern continues, what is the amount of money going to be in the bank after 5 years? How much money is going to be in the bank after 5 years? What do you got, Dave? 0.66? Because really it's 0.6595, right? But we'll round that to 0.66. Yep, love it. Yes, it was almost 6.7. Okay? Everybody agree with that? Okay? Love it. Clarita says, why are you doing so much work? Okay? Really, I'm paraphrasing here now. Okay? She says she can come up with an equation like we've been doing all year. She can come up with an equation for us that we can just go at any year, we can plug in that value, that year's value, and do it. Okay? What would her equation be? What would the equation be? Actually, you know what? Tap the brakes. Sure. What do we got for an equation? Look.
F of x equals 392.88 times 1.05 and
I just switched to T's just because then it's time. But your N's would work also. Yep. Anybody come up with a different one? What would a different one be?
F of t equals 402.02 times 1.05 to the power of n minus 1.
Or T minus 1, because you said your variable is T. But yep. But yep, no, exactly. Yep, that works out too. Yep. Okay. All right. Now, use that formula, plug in 5 in for T on your calculator, and tell me if you get 488.66. Yay or nay? You get like a yay? Except mine went to 0.6626847. Yeah? Right, but I'm saying, like it didn't just exactly, it didn't hit it exactly. No. But on the rounding, yes, we get 488.66. Okay? Carlos was surprised by that. Why is it so? Why are they the same? Why are they the same?
Because you get, it's like the same numbers that you're using.
It's all the same data, right?
Yeah.
Data didn't change by doing it one time for each one. We're still always multiplying by 1.05, just like he was. Yeah, we're just doing it now where we don't need the recursive formula. We're doing it the explicit way. Okay? All right. You need to take something for those? You need a drink or something? Okay. Carlos now can't remember how much money that he had the very first summer that they worked. And he's trying to figure out how he could figure out how much money they started with. Okay? So my statement to you is this. Okay? To go on Carlos's chart to the right, we have to multiply by 1.05. Do we agree with that?
Yep.
Okay? What if I want to go on Carlos's chart to the left?
Multiply by 0.05.
Do we agree with that? I don't, because it's going to get really, really small. Divided by 1.05? We're in negative years because the story said that they started this account 5 years ago and forgot about it. He wants to go back and figure out how much he started with, what the seed money was for this account. Okay? So to go backwards, we're going to divide by 1.05. So let's start at 382.88, and let's divide that by 1.05. Do we get what we were supposed to get? Yeah? Okay. So let's divide that again. $374.28. Nope, 347.28, not 374.
What's it be 9 since you're out?
I just divided the last one, but did you drop off the 364 point? Oops. 0.05. 29. Okay, I'll give you 2 9s. I'll be okay with it. I just went on my calculator and just divided it. I didn't, figure out the last one. Okay. All right. So now 347.29 divided by 1.05 is how much? For -3. For 3 years ago. How much money in the account? We got it.
330.75.
How much in year -4? 315. In year -5. Okay. Clarita said, let's use her formula. Her formula again. But now what are you going to put in? Put a -5 in that equation, yes. Okay? So calculate that on your calculator and tell me what you get when you plug in -5 into that pink formula. Go. Yep, everybody should have it done by now. Go ahead. So 299.996496 or 986. 299.996496. Yep. Okay. But that rounds to be 300 still. Yep. So we still get the same. That's good. Still using the same amount of money. Right? Clarita doesn't think leaving the money in the bank for another 5 years is such a good idea. It suggests that they invest the money in their next summer business because they'll have startup costs and then that way they can pay for those, all that fun stuff. Okay? Carlos says, we'll be withdrawing our money halfway through the year. Do you think we'll lose out on this year's interest? Clarita says, no, they'll just pay us the half-year portion of their interest. And how much would that be? Okay? So, back up here into the, back up here. So, they now are looking for how much money, if they take out their money right here at year 1/2. Okay? That's what they're saying. They're going to take it out in June of this year. With me? What do you think that they're going to have? How much money are they going to have in their account? I'll give you a couple of minutes to figure out how much money they're going to have in their account. I got $392.45. Tell me how I got it. What was your weight?
Because you started with 5% interest, it's only a half year, and 5% is a whole year, so if you divide 5% by 2, it's 0.25, but you also have 100, so that's 1.025, and then that times 382.88.
Okay. Agree with her on that. Does that make sense? That is not how I did it, though. You still get the same answer, but that is not how I did mine.
Plug in 1/2 for in.
In what?
In
In Clarita's?
Yeah.
We'll get there in a minute. Yep, that's it. We'll get there in a minute. Okay? How did I come up with mine? It's tough because they actually are the same number. I added up 382.88 and 402.02 and divided it by 2. I took the average of those two numbers because then that would be the halfway point between them. Okay? Alright? But yeah, I agree with that one too. Okay? Now let's try it what Andrew just said with putting half into Clarita's formula. So right here is Clarita's formula. we're going to plug in a half here. What do you guys get then? What do you got, Ty?
392.3.
That's what I got, yep. What happens if we multiply that, okay? So now on your calculator, multiply your answer by 1.05 raised to the 0.5 power again. And what do you get? So this number here times 1.05 to the 1/2 power again is what this one is asking. What do you get? 0.02, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because that's multiplying it by another half of your interest, right? Right? Okay? And really, what we're doing here, this is the cool part of this whole thing. This right here, that is the square root of 1.05. Okay? That's multiplying by the square root of 1.05. And if you think about it here in this green one, (1.05) to the 1/2 power times 1.05 to the 1/2 power is 1.05 to what power? Because we add those exponents, right?
Yep.
1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. Which means that we should get the 40202 number again, right? Which, if you think back to about a half an hour ago, we said it really was 40202.4, which is what we got when we multiplied that out. Okay? Good. Good times. So now Clarita says, what if we don't withdraw the money in June? We wait until September to withdraw the money. Okay? How would we figure that out when it's 9 months into the year? How would we figure out the 9 months? Five percent. You'll also be 5%. So point. Okay.
And then you multiply that by.
So to add 1 to that, and then like that whole way.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one way of doing it. What's the other way of doing it? What am I going to put in that equation? 3/4. Which way do you think is easier? The Clarita way, right? The putting in 3/4. Okay? Or the Ty Trollope way. Right? What do we get? Calculate it for me.
397.50.
What did you say it was?
397,115.
So you went 5 times 0.75, got you that. Divided by 100 plus 1 times 382.88 gives me Carlos's way is 397.24. Okay? Which was literally the way you were describing it. Okay? With me? If you want to start your homework tonight, you can. If you don't feel like you want to start your homework tonight, that's okay. If you have some things to stamp, I can stamp them, all that fun stuff.